Right, welcome to Investigations. And this one looking at the Nottingham stabbing hex. Right, and this was 13th of June 2023. And interesting hex. 13 and 6 is 19. Right, as you see all the threes, all the threes and that about. And and as you see here, that the 13 and 6, 19, he has two 19-year rules, right? So there's a lot of 19 in this. And again, lots of threes, and as you see there, 4 with a Dalit, and 1 3 course is 4, also for Dalit, right? So as you see, this is totally coded, but slightly interesting type of hex, because loads of threes, and East Midlands. That's slightly interesting because the name of quite interestingly, Radford, Nottingham, and basically you had some the suspect is a 31-year-old dual Guinea-Bissau Portuguese national. So you see plenty of dollars about. So it's obviously a hex, right? Lord have mercy. As you can see here, the name of the suspect is Carlo Kane, right? Kane. So Kane killed Abel, right? So it's obviously to do with that. And as you see there, the one of the faces, right? And then no different face there. So you know what I mean? I mean, lots of strange stuff about in this hex. Lots of confusion and that, right? But you see what you've got here, and that's June, right? And then in July you've got Nottingham Gay Pride event, Gay Pride March and all this. So it's totally linked to that. You can just imagine this, what they're gonna do to start or whatever. Let's have a minute's silence for the victims of this sort of, that stabbing event and all that. You know what I mean? But totally linked to that. One June, the next in July. But as you see, there's plenty of 19s about it, right? So we know what the 19 is in Hebrew, which is the cough, basically. So time to look at it, what number 19 in Islam. And the oneness of God. 19 represents the oneness of God. So this is pretty sheds a bit of explanation on it, like. Wahid. In the hidden. So you can see why it was COVID-19, basically, COVID-19. The cough. So these are sacred numbers. So, obviously that's the third sex. And this is the oneness of God. So pretty strange, like. Miracle of 19. 1984. Maybe you talk about the Islamic idea before the sort of date idea, if you know what I mean. Of course, there's no mention of Islam or note in this, but maybe that's basically what it was about. I see there one of the ideas out of it, 2 and 2 equals 5. It's already at that lie stage where everything that all the news stuff and that's total garbage lies and that hex and all that, it's already at that stage. So this is actually very Islamic type of idea, Here you see the Islamic Declaration on Global Climate Change. I think this climate change thing is, directly to do with this. Again, you got the Lam, this Lam idea and that, the Lam. I think it's directly to do with it. That's why you got this. An Islamic obligation to, take action on climate change. Of course, that's what the climate change is, change to Islamism and Muslimism and all that. So that brings about 19 by Paul Hardcastle. See, so you look at it from an Islamic perspective, and it's like a bit different. You know what I mean? The Paul Hardcastle looks a bit of a weird translate. You couldn't get the eyes much more close together, like, could you? Total artificial trance. Chrysalis Records. Lewis Islam. As you see, you got Islam in Vietnam, religion of the Cham people. We are the champions, my friend. The spread of Islam by Uthman ibn Affan, the third caliph. So in Vietnam, you actually got a sort of Muslim, you got a lot of Muslim stuff over in Southeast Asia or whatever you call it. Cham Muslim identity in the Mekong, like down there, and Lam, and Yaqub. The Yaqub and the Mekong, the big head man type of thing. The Mekong. Barney Muslims. So you can see the Mekong. Right? You totally see how it's the same as that Yaqub and also a Lam from the Aleister Crowley. Mekong Lam and the UFO Greers. Of course, there is a connection because it's all based on the same thing, and it's like a hidden code or some type of Moorish ideas, Yaakob Sayuri, an Indonesian professional footballer. So you've got basically a lot of Muslim ideas out in Indonesia, Malaysia, and all that. Yaakob. Now, as you see here, Islam is the largest religion in Indonesia. So, it's very massively widespread. Is, Islam and that. Definitely the most biggest religion on the world, like. like to see him like the 19 as well. This is very interesting stuff, like of Masons and Moors, Black Pilgrimage to Islam, Sufism. So definitely connected, like all this stuff. Prince Hall, father of African American Freemasonry. So quite strange, you know what I mean? Gotta be Allah, type of thing. (1735 to 1807). Boston. Of course, Boston is like the Tea Party. And you go and look at these little poors, the teapot poors. An African lodge. It's a strange little story in that. Back to Africa movement. And it says that partly due to the fact that there were numerous Prince Halls during this time period. So is this some form of code, like not really a real man or trans or whatever, but it's like a code for a certain position or something like that. It's quite strange, you know what I mean? You see there the 11 pillars. William Hall. It's a strange little tale, like, the manumission. Of course, like the 27 Club, of all the deaths of all the pop stars and all that. Primus. Yeah, look at that. Of course, like all the sort of high profile blacks and influential blacks and that in the history of our country there, basically. Henry Blair, like the George Orwell, like Tony Blair. See, adopting the new social norms, right? Remember the new normal. The new normal, what they called in that COVID thing. The virus is an active creation of God. According to this. Definitely to do with it, I think. Like, of course, you had the hand washing idea, which is very much of this. Doors. Again, back to Oxford with this one, right? Oxford Muslim leader told Prince Philip his wife was gorgeous. Of course, with the COVID being the reincarnation of Prince Philip idea. You see there, doing the 777 code. And John Lewis and all, John Lewis, Islam. And Dr. Hajat Ramzi,